This task is on calculating the perimeter and area of shapes. So here we have a rectangle. Let's just go over first what we mean by perimeter and area. So the perimeter of the shape is the distance all the way around that shape. So it would be the distance all the way along the outside of that shape. Okay, this is the perimeter of these shapes. Actually, when we're dealing with the perimeter of a circle, we give it a different name and we call it the circumference. So the perimeter of the circle is called the circumference of the circle, and again, it's all the way around that shape. The area of a shape is the space inside the shape. So all this space inside this shape, this is the area of the shape. Okay, so I'm not going to do it on the circle because that will muck up the diameter there. But that is the area. Area is inside, the perimeter is the length outside a shape. Here we've got a rectangle. Now we know from the last task that that must be 15 and that must be 8. So the perimeter is all the way around it. So we've got 15 plus 8 plus 15 plus 8. So that's 15 times 2, which is 30, plus 8 plus 8, which is 16. So the perimeter is 30 plus 16, which is 46. How about the area? So the area is going to be one side multiplied by the perpendicular side on this rectangle. So we've got 8 times 15. So we've got, or 15 times 8, doesn't matter which way around. 15 times 8. If you don't know how to multiply a number by 15, you can multiply it by 10 and then add half of that to it. So that's the same as saying 80 plus 40, 8, 9, 11, 12, which is 120. So that's our area. Now we have a triangle, and I've actually given you 3 different lengths on here. You only need 2 of those to find the area, but you do need all of them to find the perimeter. So, actually I haven't given you this side here. To find the perimeter, you are actually going to need to know this side as well. Let's just change this into an isosceles triangle, which means that this length here will be 5 as well. So to find the perimeter of this triangle, it will be 5 plus 5 plus 6 all the way around, which is 10 plus 6, which is 16. To find the area, now with a triangle, you've got to think of a triangle. So if this was a rectangle, you can split that into 2 triangles. So if this was a rectangle with a height of 4 and a width of 8, the area of the entire rectangle would be 8 times 4, 8, 16, 24, 32. So the area of that would be 32. And we've got 2 identical triangles in there. So each of those triangles would be half of that area. So when we're finding the area of a triangle, it's the base of the triangle times the height, which will give us this whole rectangle, and then we halve it. So it's half the base times the height to find the area of a triangle. So in this triangle, the height is 4. Okay, the height of that triangle here is 4. So we've got half the base times the height. So it's going to be half times the base, which is 6, times the height, which is 4. So half of 6 is 3, times 4 is 12, an area of 12 for that triangle. Now we've got a circle, and for the circumference of the circle, we have a formula, which is 2 times pi times the radius. And for the area, we have pi times r squared. Because we know that a diameter is 2 times the radius, we could also write this as pi times the diameter of that circle. Now pi is a number, it's an irrational number. It starts off 3.14 ... What we're going to be doing here though is we're actually going to be leaving our answer in pi, so we're not going to be using the value for pi. So the circumference of this circle, we have the diameter given to us across the whole circle through the center. So we're going to be using pi times the diameter. So that's just going to be pi times 22, which we will write as 22 pi. Again, we're not going to bother using the value of 3.14, blah, 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 blah. We're just going to write that as 22 pi. Sometimes questions will ask you to calculate it as a decimal value. Sometimes it will ask you to leave your value in terms of pi. Now for the area, we need the radius squared. So the radius is going to be half the diameter, which is 11. So we've got 11 squared, which is 121. 121 pi for the area of that circle. Here are some similar questions for you to do. Okay, so the perimeter, we need all of the lengths. So we've got 16 plus 12, which is 28. And for the area, we're going to do 8 times 6, which is 48. Now we have a right-angled triangle. We know it's right-angled because we've got a 90-degree here. So we know the height, which is perpendicular to the base of this triangle. So we don't need the hypotenuse length. We just need 8 times 6 and half of that. So I'm just going to half one of these numbers. I'm going to half the 8, which makes 4, and do 6 times 4, 6, 12, 18, 24. So we've got a perimeter. Oh, no, that wasn't right. We have a, what did I just calculate? I calculated the area there, which was 24. And sorry, we actually do need this length, don't we? For the perimeter, we need to know the whole way around, which is 10 plus 8 plus 6. That's 18, 24. In this case, we get the same perimeter as we do area. Now, if these were in centimeters, I haven't given you the dimensions here, but if this was in centimeters, it would be 24 centimeters, and the area would be 24 centimeters squared. But here I haven't told you what the units are, so we're just going to leave that as 24 and 24. Let's just double check that, because it's a bit strange that they're the same number, isn't it? So for the perimeter, we've got 8 plus 10 plus 6, which is 18, 19, 24. And for the area, we did half the base times the height. So we did half times 6 times 8, which is 3 times 8, which is 24. Yeah, they both come out at 24. Okay, last one, circumference. So our formula for the circumference of a circle was pi d, or it was 2 pi r. Here we have the radius. So it's going to be 2 times the radius times pi. So 2 times the radius is 14, and we're going to leave it in terms of pi. And for the area, our formula for the area, so this was the circumference. And now for the area, we had our formula, which is pi r squared. So we have 7 squared, which is 49. So we have 49 pi for the area. Similar questions for you to do. The first 3 are very similar to the ones we've just done. Got much more taxing questions at the bottom here. Okay, you do really need to, it's a real challenge for you to try these out. Think about all the facts we've learned so far today. Good luck.